Hey, look at that. We're back.
Yeah, the TV wasn't on, so I wasn't sure if we were actually starting. But here we are.
Here it is. Nice to see you again. I'm sorry that I missed last week.
Yeah, no, it's fine, dude. I should just expect it once every, 2 weeks.
You know, Sam said that it wasn't really that nice seeing you last week, and I would have much rather preferred to have seen you than do what I had to do. But question for you.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you think is responsible for more fatalities, Henry Ruggs or
Oh, boy.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Definitely Aaron Rodgers for the fact that he is unvaccinated. Disgusting.
At least Henry Ruggs consolidated it to just one person, right?
Just one. But I think decently, seriously injuring the other person in the car.
Okay.
He walked away.
We'll see how that factors in. I'm not sure what the calculus works out to be on that, but with that new information.
We're going to get a nice photo of his mugshot later in the show.
Oh, yeah.
It is wonderful. Should you explain someone's mugshot who killed someone is wonderful? I feel like you shouldn't, but I just did.
Yeah, it's wonderfully fitting.
You're describing the mugshot, not the action.
Correct.
Exactly.
Important
So
distinction.
I think you're okay. To
Also-
be fair, it's a pretty good mugshot.
It is. It
Right.
is top tier.
Top shelf.
Has there ever been a crazier post-Sunday week of NFL news? Starting on Monday with the normal stuff that comes from the actual playing of football as in injury news.
Yep.
And then Henry Ruggs and now Aaron Rodgers.
What day of the week was the OJ stuff? Do you know? Because that would have been a crazier week.
Well,
I guess we never sorry, what'd you say?
we're distracted.
I
Oh,
said-
and then Wilson got his, I guess.
I said, well, I think the only other week that would have been crazier is, do you know what day of the week the OJ thing was?
No.
That might be, I'll see if I can look it up.
Oh, I thought you had the answer.
No.
Why'd you ask it like
Yeah,
that?
I was just
yeah.
curious. Justin, you seem like the kind of guy who would just know that off the top of his head.
I think that's a compliment.
That is, yeah.
I do not know. I would like to know. And that there were a lot of crazy NFL news. Wilson got his finger, his cast off, and then also the pin removed. You had Derrick Henry being out potentially for the year. You obviously had Henry Ruggs. Probably good though that the Raiders didn't waste any time and released him day of. You don't see that too often in the NFL.
It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday that it happened, or that
That the actual chase happened.
a Tuesday. What month? What day does it say?
It was Tuesday, October 3rd, 1990.
I think the World Series was on. Yeah.
During the football season.
Yeah.
He killed his wife during the football season. Let's be honest, he did it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, October 3rd, 1995.
The amount of NFL players who have murdered someone.
Hold on. Was that the last time that the Braves were in the World Series?
No, 95. Wait, what year did you
He
say?
just said 95. So the last time that interesting. Because that was the last World Series win that they had.
Oh, I'm incorrect. I apologize. I'm incorrect. That was the date of the actual case. The chase
Damn it.
was June 17th, 94. My apologies. Google did me wrong.
If that chase would have happened during the NFL season, during the World Series, we would have had something that no one else had.
Yeah, no, we were close.
Thanks, Sam.
That's my bad. It was the trial, though, on October 3rd, 95.
Okay.
Why is that in Spanish? Do you see that? Well, wait, you see that, right?
I do.
What a start.
My entire face
Yeah,
is in
this is
Spanish.
incredible. This is incredible. We're already pissing people off.
We're not talking about badminton.
I would love to.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Do
Do you play badminton?
I haven't in a long time. I used to, though. Go hard and
Badminton
paint.
is a good time.
It is, yeah.
We used to have a
Sans
badminton
wind.
net in our backyard.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, dude, I didn't ask.
Cool. Nor did I.
All right, let's get into it here a little bit. Number 64. Actually, I guess we probably should have introduced the show. Most of the time, or most of the people that are probably here already know, but we are the Locker Room, presented by Spokane Talks in downtown. We're a couple days late, mainly because Andrew also had to reschedule, so that's the only reason why he's here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
I've had a crazy life the last few weeks, man.
As crazy as Henry Ruggs?
Probably not.
Okay.
What your thoughts on your lower third for the day?
That's not very nice, and that's probably true about
Did
Andrew.
you? Oh, no. Are you saying your name?
Oh, nice. That's pretty
See, so I
funny.
did that to you earlier.
Yeah, that's
just
pretty
to kind of
funny. Did you
set
already
you up.
see it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. God, you guys are pretty funny.
Thanks.
Not. I'm trying to share this on Twitter while we do this. Yeah, go ahead and get the. I was just trying to remember where we were at. Go ahead and talk.
All right,
about
this is
our
going
favorite
great.
company.
So we want you guys to know, per usual, that this show is sponsored by LuckyBird, which is a Spokane-based e-commerce and digital marketing company dedicated to helping local companies scale in the online world of e-commerce and digital marketing. We want you guys to visit LuckyBirdBrands.com to have a down-to-earth, no-pressure conversation about your digital marketing and e-commerce strategies today, forever, and always.
You know, I have never been pressured by LuckyBird.
Nope.
Not once.
Nor have I.
Not once. They are great. If you have an opportunity to utilize LuckyBird, I very highly recommend it. They're very good at what they do. Very nice people with a very nice company. All right, number 64, Seattle players. Mariners had literally nobody.
Ever?
They had 4, and I had never heard of probably 3 of them.
Any of them?
Weird.
Yeah.
Seahawks had 2 guys. I don't know who this first guy is, but his name is Ron Essink. He was the highest rated number 64 in Seahawks history. I guess he was a left tackle, drafted in the 10th round. He was better than one of my favorite linemen, Seahawks linemen of all time, J.R. Sweezy. Actually, real quick, can you pull up a photo of J.R. Sweezy for me?
Yeah.
Because that's a great. It looks like his photo looks like a mugshot. Not
he's a scary looking.
You have to get the one from his time as this with Seattle, because his current
his like initial 2012 or 13. I mean, yeah, even his Cardinals one's pretty.
Is not great, but yeah.
His face looks like he was a defensive lineman that was converted into an offensive guard.
Literally does.
Oh, yeah, the one where he has his head shaved, yes.
That one's.
I thought that was a good photo, and it ended up being very bad.
I don't know what that means. Oh, here. Oh, that was when Jimmy Fallon roasted him.
Oh, that too. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Here, I actually found it here. Let me send this to you because I would love to get this up here.
Put it in the doc.
Yep, it's going to be right next to his name. Hopefully that works, actually. So as we wait for that to pop up, I should probably open this as well. So I mentioned Russell Wilson getting the pin out of his finger. Did you see? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Most likely to say, "As you wish, master," every time the QB calls a play.
He does have.
I love
Hayden Christensen vibes.
It's actually impressive. Again, that's a guy you don't want to face, though.
No.
Like he is doing exactly what an NFL headshot should do, and that's intimidate the other team. It's pretty impressive. Oh yeah, whenever I saw his face in primetime, I'm like, that he's not going to allow a sack, and he didn't. He was really good for the Super Bowl year and a half.
He was, yeah. For what he was.
Right. Well, that was a mauler, and that was just making up, getting big holes for Marshawn to run through.
Mm-hmm.
So. Like I said, Wilson got his pin out of his finger. He's throwing way earlier than I think Pete Carroll expected, earlier than team doctors expected. But at the same time,
he's basically just saying, "Screw it, I'ma do me."
Right, but I feel like also at the same time, this is a guy who spends $1 million on his health and wellness every year.
Yeah,
I feel like he may even have better doctors than the Seahawks can provide him. And so, do you think that's fine? That he is. And we should say we don't know for sure if he's going against the will of the team doctors. It just sounds like
we don't know, but there have been inconsistencies
like
from the message of the team and Carroll, and then what Russell is posting on his Instagram.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's okay. I think it's more just a symptom of, or actually, it's more just a look into what the current state and relationship is between the Seahawks, between Pete Carroll, and between Russ, which is, hey, we're going to do it this year. He wants to get back on the field. He wants to finish the season. He wants to play. However, he's not exactly too concerned with the wishes or the intentions of the organization, especially as it pertains to his current health. Mm-hmm. And, of course, he's listening to his own trainers, and he's getting his own sort of own medical treatment, and he's got his own guys just like most high-profile athletes do. In 2021, I'm curious to see if he's going to become a glove guy whenever it is that he does return.
Asking about that.
Yeah, because he was throwing with a glove yesterday.
He can throw with a mitten on if it means that he can come back and play pretty close to as well.
I will say he was missing his receiver because he was targeting. He was throwing up his hands in different spots as he was standing
in
there.
The video?
Yep, and I just wanted to say he's missing, so I don't know if he's going to have that same touch.
I'd expect that. I'd expect him to miss right now.
Oh, totally. I would too.
But
I just don't want him coming back if that's going to be the case.
Right, and I mean, yeah, I think Seahawks fans are getting a taste of what life post Russell Wilson could be with this roster. Because honestly, the Seahawks would have won the Steelers game, the Saints game, and potentially the Rams game had he not been injured during that game.
And it's crazy to think that, too, because of the fact that they couldn't put away Tennessee, and then they let the Vikings just throw all over them for three quarters.
They had a bad 3-game stretch there.
Defensively in particular, and then
2 games,
once they finally got right with their schedule and didn't have to play, offenses that could really tear apart their defense, they were in games.
Well, I mean, you look at it though. I mean, the Steelers have been an above-average offense. Have they been great? No, by no means. And then they played a Saints team who had been putting up a decent amount of points and saw a resurgent Jameis Winston at the helm. And then they came to the Jags, who have weapons and have a rookie quarterback, but a team that should be better on offense than they are. I mean, the Seahawks have allowed 2 touchdowns in the last 10 quarters.
And their red zone defense has been particularly
fantastic.
good for however many quarters.
I mean, they gave up a garbage time touchdown to the Jags, and then they gave up a 2-minute drive touchdown to the Saints. That's it over the last 2.5 games. I think their defense is definitely getting better. I think a product of last year's improvement on defense was the schedule. This has a little bit of scheduling involved, but a lot of it has been really good play. Moving DJ Reed to the right side and letting Trey Brown and Sidney Jones play on that left corner spot, as well as utilizing more nickel and dime packages and pulling off, getting out of base, and letting Ryan Neal, at the time Marquise Blair, kind of run around and do their thing has been huge. You see a lot more Ugo Amadi making plays, which is what he was doing 2 years ago when he was playing really well. And so you're seeing a defensive line with Darrell Taylor, who's going to be a really good player in this league if he can stay healthy, as well as you're just getting a little bit better defensive line play. But that's the only thing that's really holding them back right now is a little more consistent pass rush.
Isn't it crazy how much you haven't thought about or haven't missed Trey Flowers?
It is interesting, and I think the same could be said about Shaq Griffin. At this point in the season, early on, I think you could make an argument like, we
it would have been nice to have him, but
right. And he actually played pretty well against Metcalf. He only gave up 3 catches in the game, and that 1 touchdown catch, nobody's actually both of those touchdown receptions. You're not going to defend. He's bigger and faster than you,
right? And if he figures it out and actually consistently high points the football, especially on contested routes,
he's going to be a top 3 wide receiver,
because that's something that he
still
usually struggles with mightily.
He's still learning how to utilize
that one, and it was one of his more impressive. I mean, trust me, I have DK's touchdowns like power ranked in my head for how impressive and actually how athletic and what we would expect to see from him, given just all of the magic that surrounds that man.
Right. So Seahawks are on a bye this week, probably a decent time. It's a later bye, which is nice always. They come back and play the Packers on November 14th at Lambeau with a potentially Aaron Rodgers less Packers team, considering he just got tested positive for COVID today. I'll let you introduce that part, because I think that's pretty funny what you said earlier about what he said in preseason compared to what's happening right now.
Right.
I think that's awesome.
So I think that I just love it when the media all collectively is up in arms and they're just beside themselves and they hate and they attack and they.
Wait,
so that is the current state. What?
The media does that?
I don't know. That's still to be proven. That's a working theory that I have.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
all right. Keep workshopping it. Come back later.
We'll come back to it. We'll circle back.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
So it's come out that Aaron Rodgers has tested positive for COVID.
Yep.
And so it's also come out that the soonest, as long as he's asymptomatic, that he'd be available to return would be the 13th, which would be the Saturday
10
before.
10 days minimum.
Right. Which would be the Saturday before the Seahawks are scheduled to play at Lambeau. He
can't even be in team facilities. He can't practice. He can't do anything for 10 days.
Right, and this is all coming out because of the fact that we learned that he is not vaccinated, and everybody was formerly under the impression that he was, because back when teams were still in training camp in August, the only question that any reporter ever had for any player regarding the season or regarding the team is the status of their vaccination. Right. And to which he replied to said question, yeah, I'm immunized. And so they just moved on. They were like, okay, great. So I don't know.
Awesome wordplay.
I think this is okay. So I think that this is a huge deal because this is going to be a massive social experiment as to how the media handles this, as to how the NFL bends at the knee to the media and whether they choose to do or not. What sort of repercussions and ramifications might come Rodgers' way. I'm curious, and I'm glad that it's Aaron Rodgers that this is happening to because
it's a perfect experiment.
He's more
Perfect test
than
subject.
equipped to combat anything that comes his way.
He just doesn't care.
He doesn't care, and I mean, all the people in the media talk about all the time how smart he is. They always love his answers because he's so thoughtful and he's so introspective and this, that, and the other. And now that he's taken a stance, even though it's not a stance, it's just a personal choice of his that he has not made for himself, against something that the media is universally in favor of. Now we're going to start to see some really juicy and interesting stuff. And I think it's going to serve as a perfect little microcosm of where we are socially in the country as it pertains to the status of vaccinations and COVID. And so I think it's going to be a truly fascinating thing to see play out over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Right. McWhippy says hi.
Hello.
By the way. So my thoughts on this real quick. So first, I think it's hilarious that he said,
it is hilarious.
Yeah, the way he phrased it, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, totally.
He's been playing this all along. It was just a matter of time. But I also am confused as to how Packers reporters didn't realize that this guy was unvaccinated because they're viewing practices, and if he had to be following the NFL's COVID guidelines as far as not being vaccinated, he should have been socially distancing and should have been wearing a mask during all practices, right?
So this is where it gets sticky, and this is where people might actually get into some sort of trouble. He wasn't
doing that?
He wasn't abiding by the protocols that would be in place if he were unvaccinated.
Right.
So now it's going to be like, okay, Matt LaFleur is going to be brought into question. The Packers organization as a whole, the people in charge
Just what
there.
they wanted. Just what they wanted.
Right, exactly. So that is another wrinkle to this whole story, but I am immensely intrigued. I think it's great. I think it's also great for the Seahawks if they don't happen to have to go into Lambeau and play Aaron Rodgers, because have they ever won in Lambeau, even pre-Rodgers? Have they ever won?
They have. It's been like since the 90s.
Okay, I'm just checking because I know that they lost like 13 straight or something in Lambeau. Something crazy like that.
Not
but
good.
It's going to be fascinating. I'm curious to hear what Rodgers has to say, either in his defense or as his explanation. I'm hoping he doesn't just completely like fold and go complete 100% apology tour, because he's never been that kind of guy and he's never acted like that. And I hope that the social pressure isn't too much to where he just ends up, taking that route, because I'm sure he does have some thoughts and opinions and things that are valid in the greater conversation, and I hope that he has a chance to actually voice those. So we'll see, but man, it has been a juicy week in the NFL, and thank God, because the Thursday night game is the Colts and the Jets.
So right. So here's some stuff about the Seahawks and the Packers in general. So the Packers and the Seahawks have faced off 22 times. This was prior to their matchup last season, or in 2020, I should say. Packers only lead 13-9, which is actually not as big of an advantage in the all-time series as I would have expected, because the Packers have been, really good over the last 20 years.
Well, so Seattle's been pretty decent at home. I remember they had a Monday night game of the Brett Favre era where it was snowing, and it was sweet because I was a child, and I was like, oh, I get to watch football, stay up late, and I know that school's canceled tomorrow because there's a half-inch of snow on the ground in Seattle.
Right.
And then they've been good at home against Green Bay in the Russell Carroll era as well.
Right.
It's just been at Lambeau that they can't get anything
as
going.
of 2020, Seattle has, first off, never beaten the Packers in Lambeau in a playoff game. They're 0-2, those being in the 0-3 wild card and the 0-7 divisional round. And then they had lost 8 straight against the Packers at home, and didn't they lose to the Packers in that game that they're previewing here? I think so. So 8 or 9. So that goes into the 90s for sure, because they play every 3 years, maybe once or twice overall as far as how the records line up. There's no way
No.
The Seattle hasn't won in Lambeau.
It's been a
since
long
the 90s.
time.
It's been a long, long time. So after the Packers, they do host the Cardinals on November 21st. That'll be a tough game, but also something to watch is Kyler Murray's injury status as well. He's been pretty beat up over the last couple weeks. And then they travel to Washington the week after for a primetime matchup against Washington.
Oh, I think it's Monday Night Football again.
Ugh.
God.
Whoops. That doesn't look great. So that should be hopefully a win. Then they host the Niners, and then they go to the Texans. So there's definitely winnable games there, and needed wins there as well. McWhippy wants to know if you're all right. He also wants to know about your wooden toy.
Yeah. I don't know. Sam, the producer, brought it from the back, and I thought it was
No.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was all me.
Okay. There you go.
All right. We might do picks later, but for now we're going to skip. We are tied, though. You were up a game on me after last week, and I answered that by beating you by 1 this week. So we are tied again.
Deadlocked through
8 weeks.
8 weeks, which is no longer halfway.
No, correct.
I hate all that.
That does suck. Last night, Braves beat the Astros in 6 games. So America's team won. Very, very nice to see. Also, I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is that the Astros will forever be known as the team that cheated to win their World Series title. If they would have won this year, there were probably like some people, you could probably argue and say, yeah, they cheated, but they also were really good. Now it's like, because they're not going to win. They are so screwed moving forward. They are going to be potentially, I don't know if I'll go this far. I'll say it anyway. They could potentially be the worst team in the NL West.
Whoa. After this season?
The Angels are going to be really bad. Yeah, because they're going to lose Carlos Correa.
So is that a given? Because they were talking about that last night.
He was talking in the past tense. Like, I've really enjoyed my time here. We had a lot of success.
So is it just because that was the last year of his contract?
Right. And then they're also, I saw a tweet last night, they could potentially lose both of their top starting pitchers.
Oh, wow.
They're going to lose, it's Verlander, because Verlander might be gone. He's also coming off of Tommy John surgery at, age 37?
Yeah.
And then they're also going to lose, is it Lance McCullers, potentially, I want to say? Anyway, they're going to lose, potentially 4 huge people. Plus, they have to pay a lot of their young guys who are good. So I don't know what they're going to look like. That was definitely a stretch, but they're not going to win the AL West next year. Okay. That's the best part. So the Braves played a really nice series. What's crazy is that the Braves finished the regular season with 88 wins, 2 less than the Mariners did, but they went on just a complete tear through the postseason. They lost. They were also the first World Series winner to ever win the World Series after not having any of their starting outfielders who were there at the beginning of the season play in the World Series.
I think they were also the first team to enter that ended up winning the World Series to enter the postseason with the least amount of wins amongst other teams in the postseason. That was that was being thrown around last night.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being a stat. They won 7-0 yesterday. They were in control the entire time. Max Fried, who pitched last night, probably the best pitching performance since Maddox in '95 as far as Braves postseason pitching, which makes sense. So the Braves, that was the last time they won the World Series, was '95. People talk about curses in sports. I don't know if not winning a title for 25 years is a curse.
Well, it depends on where everybody else within the league is at. I mean, it depends on what the other streaks look like, right?
Can you have a curse without winning? Can the Mariners have a World Series curse? I think that you could argue they have a postseason curse.
Yeah.
But again, that's only been 20 years.
Yeah, so what constitutes a curse? Because the Boston one was because it started with the trade of Babe Ruth to the Yankees, and then, just not being able to pull it off in the postseason for however many years afterwards until 2004. Yeah, I don't know. And then Chicago, was there anything that kicked off the Chicago curse other than the fact that it reached 100 years?
There's something about a goat.
Oh, that's right.
Was that the Cubs, though?
It's kind of hard to keep the goat straight these days.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. Curse of the Billy Goat. Awfully bold. Supposedly placed in the Cubs franchise in 1945 by the Billy Goat Tavern owner, William Cianis. Curse lasted 71 years. During Game 4 of the 45 World Series at Wrigley Field, Giannis' pet goat named Murphy was bothering other fans, and so the pair were asked to leave the stadium. Outraged, Giannis allegedly declared, "Them Cubs, they ain't gonna win no more."
Okay, that's so stupid.
That's pretty funny.
Really underwhelming.
That's actually pretty funny. So yeah, I think that's a great question. What does constitute a curse?
Because I mean, with the Atlanta thing, it's Atlanta City as a whole. It's not just the Braves, and then that was it was cemented because of the 28-3 blown lead
next week
in Super Bowl 51.
Right. Next week, I want to do the top 5 worst, or however you want to define it, curses in sports history.
Okay.
Let's do that. That'll be fun. All right, let's move on because we could talk about that forever.
Congrats to the Atlanta Braves for being America's team and taking down America's least favorite team, the Houston Astros.
Right. It was meant to be. Everything is right in the world outside of the Mariners not making the playoffs. Everything else is right in the world.
Yep.
And the Seahawks not playing very well. Actually, they're playing a lot better, but still, it's sad to see them with a bad record.
They played one good game against a really bad team.
They'll be fine. All right, so sticking on the baseball front, Kyle Seager was officially released from his contract. He had a team option for 2021. That did not get picked up. Kyle Seager as a Mariner is no more. As expected, after his farewell game in Game 162, it just happened that this was the official day, was 2 days ago on Monday. A lot of things happened that day, a lot of kind of false / I would say inadequate reporting as far as how he was released. Initially, Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times said that Kyle Seager was not even given a phone call. It was all done over email, which in fact ended up not being the case. It's that Kyle Seager doesn't like to answer his phone. And that ended up meaning that Justin, I'm not going to remember his last name, essentially the associate general manager, had to reach out to Kyle Seager's agent saying, hey, so it's not working out anymore. You know, a nice little breakup call. So essentially, probably what should have happened and unfortunately had to happen, but Kyle Seager's reign as the Mariners' third baseman is over. The weirdest part will be seeing him in another uniform because he's going to get picked up. He had 35, almost 40 home runs, or he did have 40, and over 100 RBIs. Still played solid defense at third. Probably fits better in the AL just so that he can DH here and there. Won't be as weird as seeing Felix in another jersey just because he was with the Mariners longer. But I think Seager will be more productive in another team's jersey than Felix ever was.
Yeah, it seems like Kyle's got a little bit more left in the tank than Felix ever did.
Yeah, I think Seager could be a decent contributor on like a playoff team.
Yeah, totally.
Third base market is pretty weak outside of Chris Bryant, who the Mariners will be taking a look at, which reports, did you see this?
Yeah, right.
Did you see the Mariners were like the second team if he didn't get traded to the Giants? The Mariners were the other team that was seriously invested in potentially trading for the deadline. Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, that would be wild. It's kind of hard for me to imagine that they'd be able to get a name like that.
So, okay, that was my thinking initially, and then I thought about it a little bit more. Two things work in the Mariners' favor. One, they're actually good, should be good. There's obviously a lot of question marks, but a lot of the question marks are kind of bookended by a lot of potential. And two, there's no income tax. If they can sell the fact that, hey, we're going to be good, players will make millions of dollars more just by wearing a Mariners jersey. The fact that I feel like if I was a baseball player, I would want to play for the Mariners right now.
Am I missing something? Are you joking?
Which part?
There's no income tax?
Yeah. You don't in the state.
I think I'm an idiot.
On a state
think
level,
I ever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we still have federal taxes, and you still have.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's why. But what's crazy, and this is a kind of a little bit of an aside. If the Mariners travel to the state of New York or California or wherever there's an income tax, they actually have to tax their income for the games that they play in those states.
I do remember hearing that a few years ago, and it's so dumb. It's so stupid.
That would be like I'm trying to think here. that would be like, well, I guess this kind of makes sense now that you kind of put it this way. But that would be like someone who's no, it doesn't. This doesn't make sense whatsoever. That would be like a salesperson who works in the state of Washington, who travels across state lines to go and sell some. Actually, I don't know if it works this way. I just know that the big states, Washington New York and California, does work this way. I feel like Idaho wouldn't be a state that would charge you income tax.
I would not think
for
so.
crossing. So maybe that doesn't work. But I just feel like the Mariners are actually an enticing place to play. You'd think. And Seattle as a big city is comparably bad as far as things that happen inside of that city as other cities, right? Like they're not any worse, they're not any better, but they're not any worse. Like San Francisco, New York,
Los
LA,
Angeles.
like there's a lot of really good Chicago. I don't know. It just seems like a logical place that people would want to. Yeah, they don't.
Chicago sounds better than LA these days, honestly.
Almost, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of rain, yes, but if you can handle some cloudiness, we'd love to have you. There's my pitch. We'd love to have you.
Incredible.
We'd love to have you. So Mariners are going to be looking for an impact pitcher and an impact hitter there, but that also depends on the work stoppage. There could be a work stoppage in baseball for the first time in a while. So I think that ends here in a couple weeks, the current CBA. They are trying to come up with a new one, but I don't know if that'll happen.
I'm sure old Manfred will
good old Paul.
Execute Paul. Rob?
That's funny. Paul Manfred is the athletic director at Prep.
Yes.
So you can see how those are pretty similar things.
I could, yeah.
Pretty similar things. All right. The last thing that I want to talk about outside of picks, probably not actually, but Zags are the first exhibition on Sunday. I actually wasn't able to watch because it's on SWX and my parents have DirecTV and I was over at my parents watching the Seahawks game. So I wasn't able to watch them. So thanks. I love the fact that DirecTV doesn't have SWX, and I don't know
why does anybody ever get DirecTV? Nobody that has DirecTV ever sings any praises of it. Hey, everybody just bitches about it.
Hey, wait, that I loved. Well, actually, I really like DirecTV. What do you want?
It's because they have Dish, and then Dish raises the prices, and they go DirecTV's cheaper. They go DirecTV, and then DirecTV raises the prices, and they go back to Dish. It's a never-ending cycle.
Why don't people just get Xfinity? What is the deal? Why
because
are people deterred?
I'll tell you a couple things here.
Okay.
So my first thought on this entire subject, Dish sucks. Dish is far and away the worst of the big three.
I work for Dish.
Really? Yeah, I can see why they're so bad. No, but actually, Dish sucks comparatively.
Okay.
They have no root sports. They have no. What's the other thing they don't have? They have something else that's really big that they don't have.
Nice.
Also, their reliability is lower as far as the satellite companies go. But you do go with DirecTV because you get Sunday Ticket. You have the option to buy Sunday Ticket. Also, at the time, nice, really dishing it out today. Hey, man, somebody named Courtney is hopping on our comments.
Does she have a friend?
Nice. That's what we heard. Xfinity. So do you want to know why my parents switched from Xfinity? This is essentially why I want to talk about it. So my parents were paying like $10 a month for TV from like the original like 1998 contract they signed.
Okay.
They completely forgot about like my parents only paying like $10 a month for like 150 channels. It was like a killer deal. All of a sudden, they started charging my parents like 50, 60, 70, however much money. And my dad said, hate them, screw them, and then left. And it's like, well, Dad, like it's they're charging you what they're supposed to be charging you now. So they've been with DirecTV ever since. But they just have a lot of perks. I liked their customer service better than I liked Xfinity's at the time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But DirecTV is going to lose Sunday Ticket, and when that happens, bad news bears.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the NFL. I mean, Amazon
has Thursday night, which is crazy. The fact, and we're going to stick with TV here, the fact that the Pac-12 network isn't on DirecTV is a crime.
My dad hated that.
Do you want to know why it's a crime? Bars buy DirecTV 90% of the time, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, dude.
Sure.
Not even watching my show. I'm gonna answer this.
Is that Josh?
Hey, dude. Hey, man. I'm kind of on my show right now. Yeah. Nice.
Wow, you could hear him backpedaling. He's like,
literally-
oh.
He says he's watching us live, and he still called me.
Wow.
Ballsy.
Damn. All right, what's up?
It was vibrating, yeah, but that's it.
Toss him on speaker.
I can't. That's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game to put him on speaker. Okay, yeah, thanks, man. Big fan of the show. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Technically,
See, we should just field calls on our cell
We
phones.
could do that.
Yeah, I mean, we could. What's stopping
All
us?
right, this actually gave us a really good idea. We might take calls in the future just through our phones and actually talk like not how we normally talk. And like, does this get picked up, Sam? Start talking a little bit.
Oh, you want me to just start talking like this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
decently clear.
Yeah.
Is it fine?
All right, okay.
Wow.
We'll consider this a test. I'll call back next week.
All right, deal. Okay,
Sounds
fine.
good.
This has been a weird episode.
Yeah, it really has been.
So why in God's name, with DirecTV being 90% of bars right now, because of the fact that they have Sunday Ticket and they can get every single game, why would the Pac-12 network not get a deal with DirecTV, which controls most of the bar scenes? That is completely asinine.
Was that a Larry Scott thing?
Oh, it has to be. Larry Scott was trash and horrible. I don't know how the new commissioner is doing right now, but
I mean, the Pac-12 is still a laughing stock.
still
so.
sucks. But Oregon is
I
before
don't.
the college
That's
football rankings.
That's so wrong.
Oh,
that's
it's
so wrong.
It's horribly.
Dude, I've watched multiple of
It's
their
so
games,
wrong.
including the one in which they lost to Stanford. I'm like, this team's not that
This
great.
team's not. They're the best team in the pack for sure, but
Sure.
they're not. They're
Sure,
not
that's not
college
saying
football
anything.
playoff.
And I guarantee they're going to lose again.
By the
I
way,
don't think they're going to make it through the rest
I'm
of the
going
season.
to a wedding. My buddy
Shocker.
does a part-time DJ thing on the side, and so he has some friends from WSU who asked if they could DJ for a wedding. He then asked me if I wanted to come to this wedding as like an assistant DJ just for fun, and I said yes.
DJ Reed?
I guess so, pretty much. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with. So the wedding is in Poulsbo at the
Paulsbo?
Poulsbo by the school. This guy's a West Coast guy.
Wow.
Anyway, we're staying at the Squamish Clearwater Casino, and they have a sports book there. I've never sports bet, and that's super dangerous.
Yo, let's go. That's exciting.
Yeah.
No.
Do you want-
take it for a spin?
I'll be your bookie this week.
Play
Do
some
you wanna
bets for me,
you
yeah.
wanna- Yeah. Let me
Actually-
know. Actually,
Oh man, that's super exciting because
Yeah.
I've been trying to get in on this.
I
and-
know.
yeah.
I'm super pumped. So, by the way, the bet that you should take, and me and my buddy Tim have been talking about this. Oregon plays UW this weekend.
Yep.
It's the line is 6.5. Oregon is going to absolutely run.
Obliterate.
Oh, they're going to torch the Dogs. There's not a chance
I mean,
they
yeah.
can cover that. Not
Yeah.
a chance. I'm taking the over on that 30 times out of 30. I'm pumped to sports bet. It's dangerous.
Sorry. You're taking the over. Or you're taking the Ducks.
I'm taking the over.
minus 6.5.
I'm taking the over.
Okay.
That they're gonna. Yeah. They will beat that.
Correct. So you're taking
Right.
the Ducks.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We still have to. Okay. I think. Do you have everything ironed out as far as point spreads go, and just like the way that it works?
I understand the over under. I understand the spread, and I know you can take obviously either side. You can just take it straight up. You could do whatever.
Right. Okay.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So, but essentially,
Ooh, that's exciting.
yeah, I'm really pumped. Super dangerous. I'm worried about
Very
what sort of
dangerous.
money is
Yeah.
going to be flying.
Very dangerous.
Just
Just look for value. That's,
Right.
That's all I can tell you. Look for value.
Be safe with it. So that's happening Saturday morning. We're going to do bets. The wedding Saturday night, and then I think Sunday we're going to bet NFL games.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're
Nice.
have some nice brunch.
That's going to be a fun weekend, man.
Yeah, I'm more
Wow.
excited about the sports betting.
Than the wedding or the DJ.
No. Patrick Mahomes for Najee Harris, Craig. Oh my.
Jesus Christ,
What a
Craig.
horrible. Give me someone else. I'm not going to. Mahomes. The problem is Mahomes is having a few bad weeks, so that's my issue right now. Plus, I don't even have another quarterback. Tua is my other quarterback right now, and Taysom Hill's on the
Yikes.
bench
Whoa.
because of Russell Wilson being out.
Whoa,
It's
how-
a two
yeah.
QB league, so
Okay.
like you really scrape the bottom of the barrel
Yeah,
when
you
you have
really
an
do.
injury or a bye.
You do.
Okay. So yeah, Zach's played Sunday, first exhibition game. Brian Michelson was on the bench. B Mike, really nice guy. Seemed to do a really good job, but he was interviewed post game saying it was like a dream of his alma mater, able to come in, coach. He did a really good job. Zach's obviously took care of business. I'm not going to look too much into it. It was an NAIA team that they played, so it's. I mean, they should have won by 60 or 70, however much they won by. So we'll have more Zags talk as they actually start playing regular season games, which is coming up here in a couple weeks against Texas, which will be a sweet game. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, let's do. I don't want to do picks. We'll just do it. We'll do it for remotely again. Let's go ahead and do.
You're scared.
Bronies. No, I'm not scared. We're
You're
tied.
scared. Huh?
I beat you last week.
Scared.
Nope.
Okay. Am I going first?
Yes.
Okay. My jabroni is coming up here. All right. So did you see this? First of all, the Bengals lost to the greatest quarterback to ever debut in an NFL game, Mike White.
It's super unfortunate.
The GOAT.
Bengals, yeah.
Anyway, so the Bengals, we all thought they were good, especially coming off that shellacking of the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
And they go in to the Meadowlands and they lay an egg. Ducks lay. You know what? That works. They laid a duck, and they're in the game. They're also up by 2 scores in the fourth quarter. And so they get they were able to get off the field right there. That tackle was made. Could you run that play just one more time?
Please.
So this was a tackle on 3rd and 11, and he was about 5-6 yards. Jesus Christ, yards short
about
of the stick.
5 or 6 ducks
anyway,
short.
so the running back lowers his head into the helmet of the defender, and the defender gets called for targeting, and a 15-yard penalty advances the drive. Jets go down. Cincinnati, game over. Anyway, the Bengals shouldn't have been in that position anyway, especially against that Jets team. I mean, their defense got eviscerated by Mike White. Yeah, that's why it's the best professional sports league on the face of the planet. But dude, these refs, man, I'm telling you, last year they were just so concerned with, hey, football's back. We need this as a country. We need this just for general happiness and well-being amongst all the NFL watchers and sports fans alike. And they let things go. There were far less penalties. I mean, drives were able to be sustained and not derailed by holding calls or offensive linemen with hands to the face on, defensive ends and things of that nature. And this year, man, it is all come crashing back down, and it's just awful. And they just tighten it up. Just keep it in your pocket. We don't need that. But anyway,
keep it in your pants.
Keep it in your pants.
Keep that flag.
Keep that duck in your pants. And congrats to Mike White, because that's awesome. Cool for him.
That's very, very cool.
But yeah, so jabronis, the NFL referees, they're back. They're back.
They are back, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. My jabroni, we talked about him earlier, is going to be Henry Ruggs. He is our jabroni. So as we were talking earlier, is it something like to talk about whatever as impressive? What did we say earlier? That like
a crazier week.
Oh, right, and like talking about how So what he did was actually pretty bad.
Horrific.
Pretty bad overall. So he was driving top speed of 156 down Rainbow Boulevard in Vegas, and he absolutely wrecked into this car going 127 miles an hour when his airbags actually deployed. His blood test that was ran was double the legal limit. He had a loaded gun in his car, and this was the Monday after their game, like Monday night after their game. I just don't understand what goes through these players' head when they do this. So that was his mugshot there. He had his court appearance even already today.
They didn't play this week.
Oh, yeah. So that doesn't make sense, but I guess at least he didn't have a game. I don't know.
I don't think there's any way that you can.
There's any way you're
rationalize
getting around that. So that was just not great for sure on his part. So he's my jabroni, because don't drive that fast drunk with a loaded gun in your car, because you kill people, and that's what he did. He killed a 23-year-old woman.
She was 23.
23. Slammed into the back of a Toyota RAV4, caught it on fire. When the paramedics got there, she was dead. She was burning alive in the car.
Jesus.
Yeah, not good. So I want to say, so what's crazy is his bail was only set at $150,000.
Wow.
It's like, this guy makes he was a first-round draft pick. He makes millions of dollars a year. Shocked that wasn't a little bit higher.
Even if he wasn't a first-round draft pick,
he still
is playing in the NFL.
It's like the minimum that you can make.
Yeah,
like at least
that's even if that's like hurting
thousand?
The bank, that's not gonna like destroy him.
Yeah, nice glasses.
Oh, her dog was in the car too.
All right,
that's unfortunate.
So I'm officially against this.
Henry Ruggs' passenger was Kiara Janai Kilgo Washington of Vegas. They both were hospitalized, as you saw there. He had a neck brace on, had a cut on his nose. He owns a $1.1 million house not far away from the crash occurred. Happened at 3:40 in the morning. So his bail, he has monitoring, no alcohol, no driving, and he can't have his passport. What are you doing aside from everything that he did, I don't understand why you have a loaded gun in your car. That's just asking for trouble, especially for a guy like him who isn't using it for anything. Like, he's not using it. I guess he could be using it for protection, but he's not utilizing it in the way that a lot of people who support the Second Amendment would be like, you should probably have a loaded gun in your car.
I don't want to make any assumptions, but it seems to be sometimes for some individuals a status thing.
Oh, it's for sure a status thing. Like, look at Frank Clark. He had a loaded Uzi in his car when he got pulled over this offseason. He's like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, what goes through your mind when you put that in the back of your car and think, this is going to end well?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Everything he did that night was not very intelligent at all. Oh, my God. My buddy Joel said, when can I expect him back for my fantasy team?
That's a great question. Actually, that might be the only question that matters at this point in time.
Oh, my God.
We'll circle back.
Yeah. He was.
Let you know next week.
I did. Yeah, we'll let you know next week. I did draft him on my fantasy team. Dropped him and was picked up by my buddy Eric, who then dropped him yesterday.
I would say maybe don't drop him yet.
Yeah,
that might be a little.
It's
too,
the NFL. That
might be too much of an overreaction.
The NFL Players Association has great lawyers. All right, this day in sports history, 1935, the Eagles beat the Boston Redskins 7-6. This is football, by the way.
Whoa.
7-6 at Fenway Park. Also, a football game at Fenway sounds sweet.
Hold on, there were Boston Redskins?
Yeah.
I never heard that before.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is, what did they say on the NFL broadcast on Monday? Or was the someone they said, I was like, really? I didn't realize that they were that before they were this. But if you look back, it's weird how many times teams switch mascots or keep mascots, switch cities. There's a lot of relocation. It doesn't happen very often today.
Well, it's interesting, too, how it happens, like, inner sport.
Right.
As well. It's not just,
Right.
within baseball, this, and this happened, but we're, like, crossing the lines of various sports as well with that stuff. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Okay.
1937, Frenchman Maurice Archambaud cycles world record for distance in 1 hour. He went essentially 46 kilometers in an hour.
It's pretty good.
That's 29 miles in an hour. He's essentially going a half a mile every minute.
It's very good.
That's very impressive, especially for the entire pace. He did that in Vigorelli, Milan, Italy. 1982, on this day, San Diego guard Randy Smith plays his 845th consecutive NBA game in a loss to Philadelphia. He passed Johnny Redker's NBA record and went on to play in 906 straight games. The reason I bring this up is nobody in the NBA does that anymore.
No.
Nobody does that. There's no such thing as an Iron Man in the NBA because they're all soft. Also on this date, in 1996, Kobe became the youngest player to ever make his NBA debut at the time. He was 18 years old, 2 months, and 11 days.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Really ridiculous that he was literally just had his 18th birthday and made his NBA appearance. Not as crazy when you think about that happens in professional soccer all the time.
All the time, yeah. That's a good
all
point.
the time. All right, closing time. What is mine? Oh, go ahead. You can go. You can do yours.
All right, ESPN, you're on the hot seat. So this is a picture of the College Game Day setting. Of course, the famous, it's one of ESPN's, probably still at this point, their biggest show is College Game Day. So that's a picture of them over on the right for Michigan and Michigan State versus Barstool, which just started doing this, I believe, this season.
I think so.
They take their talking heads, their personalities, and they put on the exact same concept of show. And so Casey Smith being a part of that Barstool broadcast, so she took the two pictures side by side, and thoughts and prayers for the worldwide leader, which is something that a sentiment that you and I echo frequently on this show. And I chose this because also last night I was watching SportsCenter after Scott Van Pelt handed it over to, I think her name is Ashley Brewer.
Yes.
And then Stan Verrett. And Ashley Brewer, she's new. She was really struggling. It was just very evident on the broadcast that she often lost her train of thought, and she went a little long because she was trying to correct herself or trying to actually
kind of stumbling.
Yeah, stumbling, and it was tough to watch. And I mean, I can only imagine how difficult that job is, especially if you're new, and especially with the current state of how ESPN is, where you do have some of the old guard still there. I mean, she's working with Stan Verrett. Stan Verrett, of course, is an icon and original.
Yep.
And it's with every show that I really try not to watch most of them because they're awful.
It's so bad.
But it's a sad state of affairs where they are, who their talent is, what their talent lack thereof, but what topics or what subtopics within the greater, discussions that they're focused on.
That they think people care about.
It's sad. It's not even close to the first place that anybody should be going for any sort of sports media consumption or sports content or sports opinions. And then they put either Stephen A. or Mike Greenberg on every single thing possibly because
it's not good.
It's their biggest names. And
let's pop that photo back up real quick. ESPN has this virtue signaling aspect of their job now that they think people really care about. And I'm not saying you shouldn't care about it. Yet, does it need to be something that's like literally shoved down your throat and thrown in your face every single time you put on a game? No, probably not. Again, my thoughts on it, the people that you're preaching to who are watching this will never be, like, who need to hear it, aren't going to change their mind based off of what Stephen A. Smith says.
Right.
Like, it's just, it's crazy.
You're just preaching to the choir.
Right. Everyone's like, yeah, I thought that was obvious.
Yeah, it's understood. Why are we
and
suggesting
racism?
That?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that.
Right.
I'm actually pro-racism. Like, no, like, it's just, it's completely crazy. And then they spend so much more time talking about that and talking about that side of sports than the actual coverage of the sports themselves. And Barstool literally does the complete opposite and will make fun of other, entities for whatever their coverage is by showing up how bad they are. Because you mentioned the lack of talent, and they literally point out at how almost embarrassing it is of some of the people that they're hiring to do. Like, there's one of the ESPN reporters for, I don't think it's the Steelers. I don't want to call out the wrong person. One of the ESPN NFL Nation reporters for one of the NFL teams, horrible. I watched them do a TV interview, and I'm like, has this person ever been in front of a camera? Like, it was just, it's surprising. There's a reason why Barstool does very well. And then they troll people. And then they get people like ESPN, and they get other people, or at least the employees of ESPN, talking about, like, I can't believe Barstool said that. It's like, they only say that because you start talking about them. It's really not that hard of a subject to understand.
And Barstool doesn't completely avoid the more nuanced topics, especially when it comes to social stuff.
Right.
They don't completely avoid it, but what they do, they respond to it or they talk about it the way that you and I would, which is, this is obviously not a good thing. And the fact that we're taking so much time to discuss it means that you think that more people out there exist that think that this is okay. And I just don't think that that's the case. And if it is the case, we're not associating with that brand of people. We're not entertaining what their thoughts and opinions are because they're obviously so asinine.
Right.
And so that's just something that ESPN and obviously so many news networks aside from sports, they can't figure out. And so it's just, for the most part, it's a waste of time. It's not a productive conversation because everybody that has any sort of baseline rationale and logic to them don't think that way. So, there's a reason that Barstool is absolutely ascending and are not slowing down, and then just about every other entity around it is faltering.
Right. Quick point on the Henry Ruggs thing. Hopefully he gets J.R. Smith's and Ray Lewis's lawyers. He might have a shot.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, he might have a shot at
actually
out there.
In the question of the fatalities done by Aaron Rodgers, AJ is the Bears fan, right?
Yes.
Is he dead?
No, surprisingly not.
Has Aaron Rodgers taken his soul after saying that he owned him and that he's always owned him?
Right. That was.
Is he okay?
He is doing okay.
Okay.
He's not great, but Justin Fields actually looked halfway decent last week, so that was a plus.
Yeah, without Matt Nagy at the helm. So
weird how that happens. Weird how that happens. All right, before I forget, here's another company that I like to talk about. That's Windermere. Windermere Services Mountain West proudly services over 60 Windermere offices in Eastern Washington, Idaho, Eastern Oregon, and Montana. They are all in for their local communities. At Windermere Services Mountain West, relationships are the foundation of our business, their business. Their mission is to be successful, team-oriented real estate professionals committed to exceeding expectations through exceptional customer service. They are Windermere. Windermere Services Mountain West is committed to the communities in which they live and work. They are all in for you. Windermere Services Mountain West. All right, my closing time. We will end with before that picture gets thrown up. So 20 years ago almost 20 years ago was the release of the original Xbox as well as the first Halo. It was November 15th.
Yeah, and have you heard the speculation that people think 343 might move up the release date from December 8th to November 15th?
I haven't, but
That'd be a great idea.
It's out there.
Well, see, the craziest thing about that too is since it's going straight to Game Pass, it's not that hard to do. It's not like they have to sneak in millions and millions of copies into GameStop and say, don't let anyone know about this. They literally just say, oh, it's November 15th. By the way, here's Halo Infinite, and everyone goes wild. They could easily do that. That's interesting.
And that would be huge for them. That would be huge. They'd be celebrated for it.
Okay, well, now you kind of got my hopes up.
I know, I'm sorry.
I don't think it'll happen, but
yeah,
It's probably not going to happen.
Okay.
I'm not counting on it to
My
happen
bad,
either.
Sam.
No, I can guarantee it's not going to happen.
Okay. That's right. 343 employee back there. Oh, you work for Microsoft? Cool, dude.
I agree with him. I
also don't think
I
it'll
would be
happen.
surprised if it happened.
This far,
Right.
at this point, and if they early release a game that has been delayed this long,
Right.
and it sucks, Halo's dead.
Bad.
Also, on top of the fact that they're releasing without co-op multiplayer as well as Forge, and they
Yep.
release early, and everyone's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Why didn't we just wait till
Yeah.
December and you put those in?
The only thing I could see happening is if it does release, and it's not releasing with any of that,
Right.
is if they then surprise release all of that on the original release date.
So, yes, that would be the only way they could do it, is if they release everything on November 15th, which they won't. But it's a cool concept. So, essentially, the reason why I brought this up is because George Kittle, who I don't enjoy, he's a very talented football player, but I still don't like him, had probably one of the coolest Halloween costumes. There he is as Master Chief, and I need to figure out who she is because you asked me before the show does he have a girlfriend or
It's his wife. So
Does
he
he have a
got
wife?
he got like his Joker. He got one of his tattoos. It may have been the Master Chief or the Joker one. He got that like 8 hours before their wedding day.
Oh yes, Claire Kittle. Oh really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Right.
he was like, everybody was getting all prepared and, all the festivities and all the things that come with the day of the ceremony. And he's like, just been,
She looks young.
well, I mean,
Look at that. Like even he guess he's only 24. I guess she doesn't look that young. You get to a point in your life, it's around this time, where you look at like NFL players who are 25 or whatever, and you're like, God, they look so young. Or like 23.
I don't like it at all.
And it's like,
I don't like it
wait
at all.
a second.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I liked being younger than them. Always. Routinely younger every
Right.
time that I was watching any sort of sporting event, collegiate or professional.
Right. And now you
I
look
miss
at it and
those
you're like,
days.
they are more impressive than I am.
Yeah,
as
that's
a
right.
human. As
Yep.
a human, they are doing
And that's
a
why
lot
we
better
sit
than
here
me.
and we talk about them.
And we talk about them.
'Cause that's the
and,
only thing
that's
that
all
we can do. Yeah.
All we can do. But I am playing volleyball every Thursday.
That's
Did I
right.
tell you
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you
we're
kidding me? Yeah.
we're actually doing pretty well.
Yeah. So I hear.
Yeah, we're pretty impressive athletes.
Thank goodness for that.
Thank goodness.
Going to be hit now.
What'd you say?
How many balls are going to be hit by now?
I did hit a ball
Singular.
off my face somehow.
So the ball hit you
Barely.
in the face.
No. So
yes.
no. So
You're
what?
telling me this was an intentional move by you?
So what
Hey,
happened?
hit
Instead
the
of
ball
using
with
your
my face. You're
arm,
like,
No, no,
hey,
no,
let me weigh my
forehead,
options
baby.
here.
No, but
Face.
I did have a dig with my chest. It was actually really weird. I'm also a big FIFA guy. I like to kick the volleyball if I can't.
Oh,
I don't like
okay.
to dive for it. I'd rather just stick out my foot.
Okay.
So anyway, there was a play where it was a pass, and I couldn't see where the ball was at because we kind of collided a little bit, and they passed it, and they yelled like "Reed," like that you hit it, and I didn't know where the ball was, and I literally just figured based off of where it could possibly be. I'm like, oh, it's right here. So I go to hit it, and I was off, and instead of like actually just passing it straight up, I passed it right into my face.
So the ball, after it made contact with your face, did not make it over the net.
Unfortunately, not. But I did kick the ball over the net once, which was pretty cool. It's fun. Volleyball's
I need
fun.
to start doing some intramural stuff so we can like stack up our sportive experiences.
It really is important. You learn a lot.
I mean, I get runs in at the gym, but that's about it.
That's not quite the same.
Dude, I hate high schoolers right now. Sorry, Warren, but oh my God, they're another breed of.
What's
Not even him.
What's going on?
Oh, I'm just talking about like the types that show up to a public gym and run fives with basketball. It's just there is a different level of je ne sais quoi.
There's a reason why
kids have.
There's a reason why they're going to go pro and you didn't.
That's true. Yeah,
for sure. All right. Can you work Monday? Like, can you do this Monday, or like, what do we think?
I don't know. I think we should switch it up again. I like this Wednesday thing.
Ooh, that might not work.
Well, there we go. Why not?
So
What's
yeah,
going on?
sure.
I actually, I'll hear.
But yes, I'm done for the season. So
Kyler Murray did not practice today.
that's good. That's bad for him. That's too bad.
Too bad. Injuries are bad, but injuries can also be good.
That's right.
Depending on the severity and how much it impacts in a positive way my team. Exactly.
Yep.
All right, we will plan for next Monday here on the locker room. Oh, good. McWhippy fell asleep on his desk watching us. That's good to hear.
Hey.
But it is 8:30 for him. Maybe he had a rough day at work.
Maybe he already had a couple brews.
Maybe his wife came home and he decided to get into his study and just try and hide, potentially. All right, Monday, back here in the locker room. Like we said, Seattle's on a bye. The Seahawks are on a bye. Zags will play another game by then. And go Braves.
Go Braves. Braves pod.